I'm continuing with my reading, and what I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around just a little bit as I move along. Right now, I am in Leviticus chapter 22. And before I continue again, let me say this chapter does contain portions of the Joseph Smith translation. What the Joseph Smith translation is, this is an inspired correction or translation of the Bible done by Joseph Smith to restore those portions of the Bible that had been lost over the years. So let us get into chapter 22. Those of the priests and their families who may eat of the holy things are set forth. Sacrificial animals are to be perfect and without blemish. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and to his sons, that they separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel, and that they profane not my holy name in those things which they hallow unto me. I am the Lord. Say unto them, Whosoever he is of all your seed among your generations, that goeth unto the holy things which the children of Israel hallow unto the Lord, having his uncleanness upon him, that soul shall be cut off from my presence. I am the Lord. That man soever of the seed, what man soever of the seed of Aaron is a leper, or hath a running issue, he shall not eat of the holy things until he be clean. And whoso toucheth anything that is unclean by the dead, or a man whose seed goeth from him, or whosoever toucheth any creeping thing whereby he may be made unclean, or a man of whom he may take uncleanness, whatsoever uncleanness he hath, the soul which hath touched any such shall be unclean until even, and shall not eat of the holy things unless he wash his flesh with water. And when the sun is down, he shall be clean, and shall afterwards eat of the holy things, because it is his food. That which dieth of itself, or is torn with beasts, he shall not eat to defile himself therewith. I am the Lord. They shall therefore keep mine ordinance, lest they bear sin for it, and die. Starting over verse 9. They shall therefore keep mine ordinance, lest they bear sin for it and die therefore, if they profane it. I, the Lord, do sanctify them. I'm going to pause here because verse 29 is our Joseph Smith translation right here. So verse 9, not 29, verse 9. Just read that. This is Joseph Smith's correction. They shall therefore keep mine ordinance, lest they bear sin for it and die therefore, if they profane not mine ordinances. I, the Lord, will sanctify them. Now that's interesting because the punctuation is left the same. But it gives this saying, if they do not profane the ordinance, then God will sanctify them. But this is going back to ritual uncleanliness. This isn't exactly sin. This is the ritual uncleanliness, touching of dead bodies, leprosy, these things that would make you unclean. Then the priest, the person who is unclean, is not allowed to bring their offerings. They have to separate themselves from the camp for a time. Priests are not allowed to eat of the sacrifices. Normally the priests, whatever priest performed the sacrifice, him and all of his family would eat that particular sacrifice. But not if any member of his family is unclean. They're not allowed to eat it. Anyways, let us see. Let me just peek ahead a little bit. Okay, verse 10. There shall no stranger eat of the holy thing. A sojourner of the priest or an hired servant shall not eat of the holy thing. But if the priest buy any soul with his money, he shall eat of it. And he that is born in his house, they shall eat of it. They shall eat of his meat. If the priest's daughter also be married unto a stranger, she may not eat of the offering of the holy things. But if the priest's daughter be a widow, or divorced, and have no child, and is returned unto her father's house, as in her youth, she shall eat of her father's meat, but there shall no stranger eat thereof. So this is, again, keep the sacrifice pure. Only the priests are allowed to eat it. If you have a guest in your house, they don't get to eat it. But if you have slaves, they can eat it. If you buy a slave, they are then allowed to eat it because they, by the right of the purchase, they become part of the priest's family, part of his household, and therefore they can eat it. However, a daughter who marries outside the family is no longer legally considered part of the family. She's part of her husband's family. Now she cannot eat it. But I do find it interesting, if she is widowed or divorced without children, she is returned to her father and thus again becomes part of her father's house and can once again eat of the sacred things. But if she has children, because her children are of the family of her husband, she remains in the family of her husband. This is largely legalistic stuff. You got to have order. With the father as the head of the house, his wife and his children are considered his family. His wife legally is no longer under the authority or the patriarchal line of her father because she is now under her husband. This is just legalese kind of stuff, saying we got to keep order. And so, it's the idea that, somebody has to be responsible. Now, of course, if she does something, she's responsible for herself. But there are certain legal rights and responsibilities that have to be fulfilled. When she is not married, they are fulfilled by her father. Once she gets married, they are fulfilled by her husband. They can't be fulfilled by both. It has to be one or the other taking on these rights and responsibilities. So this is what it's talking about. Once she's married, her husband now has the legal responsibility to care for her. Therefore, she is not considered part of her father's house. If she has children and her husband dies or she is divorced, then her husband's family is required to take care of her. But if she has no children, she is returned to her father's house, and her father now has the responsibility to take care of her. So that is what this is talking about. Let us continue. Not too much more, but we'll see. Verse 14, and if a man eat of the holy things unwittingly, then he shall put the fifth part thereof unto it, and shall give it unto the priest with the holy thing. And they shall not profane the holy things of the children of Israel, which they offer unto the Lord, or suffer them to bear the iniquity of trespass when they eat their holy things. For I, the Lord, do sanctify them. Interesting. I think this is what it is. If somebody accidentally eats of the holy things, this is the sacrifices, then he has to restore 1/5 of it. So he has to pay for it, basically, because it's not his. It's a very interesting thing. It's a little confusing, quite honestly. So let's move on. Verse 17. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and to his sons and unto all the children of Israel, and say unto them, Whatsoever he be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers in Israel, that will offer his oblation for all his vows and for all his freewill offerings, which they will offer unto the Lord for a burnt offering, ye shall offer at your own will a male without blemish of the beeves of the sheep, or of the goats. But whatsoever hath a blemish, that shall ye not offer, for it shall not be acceptable for you. And whosoever offereth a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord to accomplish his vow, or a freewill offering in beeves or sheep, it shall be perfect to be accepted. There shall be no blemish therein. Blind or broken, or maimed, or having a wen, or scurvy, or scabbed, ye shall not offer these unto the Lord, nor make the offering by fire of them upon the altar unto the Lord. either a bullock or a lamb that hath anything superfluous or lacking in his parts. That mayest thou offer for free will offering, but for a vow it shall not be accepted. Ye shall not offer unto the Lord that which is bruised, or crushed, or broken, or cut. Neither shall ye make any offering thereof in your land. Neither from a stranger's hand shall ye offer the bread of your God, of, of your God of any of these, because their corruption is in them, and blemishes be in them. They shall not be accepted for you. So a wen, according to the footnotes, alternate Hebrew translation is wart. This is just going to, the sacrifices have to be pure because they symbolize Christ. They can't be damaged, they can't be injured, they can't have any deformation. But there's the one thing that I have to say is a little confusing. So I'm going to flip back a moment because we have a footnote here referencing Leviticus, back to Leviticus chapter 7. So I'm going to take a brief moment on this one because this one really confused me. Interesting. So back in chapter 17, we're talking about various sacrifices again. I think this was talking about the sin offering. This is the when they're making a vow, and even here in chapter 22, it talks about offer sacrifice, a peace offering unto the Lord to accomplish his vow, or a free will offering, and all this stuff. But in verse 23, either a bullock or a lamb that hath anything superfluous or lacking in his parts, that mayest thou offer for a free will offering, but for a vow it shall not be accepted. So what is this? Superfluous means extra body parts. Does it have an extra toe? An extra nipple? Those kinds of things. Or lacking. Is it missing a leg? Is it missing something? But when it's a free will offering, not for the purpose of making a vow, so no peace offerings, no sin offerings, but just an offering to the Lord to show gratitude, whatever, you're going to offer something to the Lord, then it can be lacking or superfluous. But not for vows, not for, because I think the free will offering is just me wanting to give something to the Lord. And that's the offering that you can eat today. You can eat the day it's sacrificed and the day after, but not on the third day. You have 2 days to eat it. Offerings made for vows, peace offerings, sin offerings, they have to be eaten the same day. They can't be eaten on the second day, all on the same day. So these free will offerings that are not for a vow, they're not as strict in their offering as the offerings for vows. It's a very interesting detail there. Let's finish this quickly. Verse 16. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, when a bullock or a sheep or a goat is brought forth, then it shall be 7 days under the dam, and from the 8th day and thenceforth it shall be accepted for an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And whether it be cow or ewe, ye shall not kill it, and her young both in 1 day. And when ye will offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving unto the Lord, offer it at your own will. On the same day it shall be eaten up. Ye shall leave none of it until the morrow. I am the Lord. Therefore shall ye keep my commandments and do them. I am the Lord. Neither shall ye profane my holy name, but I will be hallowed among the children of Israel. I am the Lord which hallow you. That brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord. Okay, so interesting. Again, it's the 8th day. They have to be 8 days old before they can be sacrificed. I find that, again, interesting, is, again, 8 days is the age of accountability. So we're seeing, again, some symbolism for the age of accountability here. But let us leave that here, and we'll see you in the next one.